Hey my friends, welcome back to Frog Boy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and I want to talk about yesterday. So I put out that video, the 5090, whatever I want. I'm ready for free 5090s. Well, it's true. Okay, like I am. It would make my job as a content creator significantly easier if Nvidia would just be nice and send me one of them free 5090s, because like I've said, I hear that the experience is significantly better when it's free. And you know what, guys, that pretty much goes for any product. The experience is always going to be significantly easier or better if it's free. And we all know that. But you know, guys, when you become a content creator and companies like reach out to you and they send you stuff, like you get this like sense of like, oh man, like that's cool that this company would want to work with me and stuff. Like you do. Like there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. And the bigger you get, obviously, the more cooler stuff that people will send you and stuff. I've been sent some pretty cool stuff since I started this, and it's all thanks to you guys, because you guys are an incredible community and you guys come and you guys watch, and if it wasn't for you, like none of that would even happen. And so I think as a content creator, you always have to kind of keep that in your mind that like, look, these companies, they obviously want access to your community, but your community is what made you what you are today. Without your community, you're absolutely nothing. So yeah, I try to be as fair as I can for the products that they send me. And you know what I mean? Like, obviously they send them to me as a way to promote their products. And that's the way it is for any content creator. They send you a product, even if, and so most of the time, let's put it this way, like most of the time, it's just a free product for you to cover on your channel and use and do whatever. Like the T598 that Thrustmaster sent out to me with the hypercar rim, they sent this to me for a review. For one review. I was only required to make one review for that. But here's the thing. I have the product. I don't have to send it back. It works fantastically. It does a very good job at what it needs to do at the price point it's there. So now Thrustmaster, essentially every time I cover this T598 on the channel, that's free advertising for them. That is somebody using their equipment to make content, and therefore the community is going to see that and be like, oh man, you know what? I was thinking about that T598. I like the aesthetic of that T598. I like the way that looks. It looks like Froggy's happy using it. He's being able to use it and do what he wants. Clearly it's a good enough for him to use. So maybe it'll be good enough for me. And then, you know, that cycle repeats itself. You know, people are going to watch me use it. They're going to want to buy it. And that's fine. Like, that is the whole point of content creators getting free products from these companies. So, but here's the thing. Graphics cards are a little bit different. There are different levels. Obviously, if you have the 5090, which is the Halo product, clearly will give you the best experience when it comes to Nvidia. Everything else under that, you're guessing. You know, you're like, oh man, my favorite content creator loves Nvidia. They use it all the time, but I can't afford a 5090, so I'm going to afford the best Nvidia GPU I can buy. That is the difference. I mean, obviously there is a Halo product for the Thrustmaster. They do have the T818, but that is only. This is essentially the Halo product for the PlayStation and, you know, like the console market. And you know, it's affordable, like you can get in there. I mean, I say affordable, you know, when you're looking at a $500 wheelbase, a couple $100 stand, that's affordable. For what this will deliver and what this will bring to your life, clearly affordable. Clearly an incredible experience that will completely transform your gaming experience, just like a 5090 would. A 5090 will absolutely transform your experience as a gamer. And that's why they send that to the freaking content creators, is to hype us up for it. And then we have to decide, okay, are we going to buy the 5090 because that is the best thing you can get for PC gaming right now? Or do we buy into the Nvidia stack wherever we can afford to do that. That's the biggest difference with PC gaming. And that's why I think that is the biggest reason I think it is misleading when everybody, because I mean, you got to think of it this way. If you have a 5090, say Nvidia sent me a 5090 right now, like I'm tainted. I am tainted forever. Like I am, boom, I know what the best PC experience is from that moment forward. I mean, that's why I've literally pushed back against that as hard as possible going to the top Nvidia card, because we all know that is the best experience. We just do. Aside from like the burning plugs or any of the other nonsense, we all know in our minds that is the best experience you can get. That is a full die, a full Nvidia die with plenty of VRAM that you will not get left behind, with like the newest and greatest features that Nvidia has to offer on that card, on that 5090. No question that is going to be the best experience PC gaming that you can get this generation. That's why I push back on it, because if I got a 5090 and I'm using a 5090, like my mind, boom, already tainted. There is nothing out there that will beat a 5090, period. Nothing. So what do I do then? You know what I mean? Then I got the best experience. There's no need for anything else anymore. You have the best experience. So all of your coverage down the line is going to come from that sense of like, all right, Nvidia is the best. And then you start to minimize the stack the rest of the way. And it's still, oh yeah, but you still get this feature, you still get this feature, and this is worth having, and this is worth having. And then, yeah, it just kind of snowballs down the thing. And then you've got people out there who would choose to buy like a 4060 or a 4060 Ti. So get this, they would choose to buy a 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte GPU over like a 7800 XT, which is a more powerful card, over a, I mean, and then like, what was it? Like, I think it was like $500 for a 4060 Ti 16 gig. And then you look at that and you're like, what the freak is going on here? Like, why are people doing that? Like, why? It doesn't make any sense. But they are just so happy to have the GPU that their favorite YouTuber is using. And that makes sense. That makes sense. Like, why wouldn't they? Why? For every 5090 that Nvidia sells or sends out to a content creator, that's a guaranteed, like, oh yeah, I guarantee that so many people in that audience went out and bought 4060s, 3060s. They're going to buy 5060s because that's what they can afford. And that's what they can barely afford, because they're going to spend almost twice the amount of money on a 40 series card when they could, obviously they could get an Intel, obviously they could get an AMD GPU. For the money they spend for some of that stuff, they could get a significantly better AMD GPU. And that's just how it works. That's just how it works. Do you pay for the features? And I mean, the sad part, guys, is most of them lower end NVIDIA cards, they are NVIDIA branded, but they just don't do the next gen technology as well as the higher end cards. Like your 4080 Super, okay, that card did impress me. It did impress me. I liked it. I did like it. Like I had, like there was games that I absolutely loved playing on that. But if I sit back and I look at it as a whole, okay, I'm like, okay, what features does the AMD GPU have that I am not willing to give up versus what does the NVIDIA 4080 Super have that I'm not willing to give up? And at that current time, this is before Black Myth Wukong, this is before Star Wars Outlaws, this is, before the end of the generation games started hitting, Indiana Jones and stuff. I'm like, everything I love to play plays significantly better in my eyes on the AMD GPU, on the 7900 XTX. And I'm playing those games and I'm just absolutely blown away. A big thing, guys, really is the Adrenalin software. Like the Adrenalin software is probably what really holds me to the AMD experience more than like the new next gen features that NVIDIA brings out. Like they're cool, they're great, they're awesome. But I mean, think about it. We waited during the whole 40 series, you know, obviously Cyberpunk comes out, it's got the path tracing, all of that stuff, right? And I mean, that patch came out before 40 series even launched. Like, you could try those on your 30 series card. You could already see, like, oh my gosh, this is so heavy. You could turn on DLSS and barely get 30 frames a second. Like, you already knew, okay, that feature right there, boom, it's out the gate, it's running, it works on my 3080 10 gig. All right, I'm excited now. I'm wanting to see. And then they come out with the 40 series cards and they're like, oh, well, you're not going to be able to do this and this and this on your 30 series cards, but you can do it on, and right there, instantly made everybody like, what the freak, man? Like, everybody that bought a 30 series card instantly felt ripped off right then and there. Everybody. I know I did. I know that people come to the channel and talk about it all the time because that's what happened. That is what happened. Like, everybody felt ripped off. This generation between 40 and 50 multi-frame generation, I don't think people are as upset. You could use lossless scaling and it basically does the same thing. Like, whatever. I've been testing the lossless scaling out, playing around with that. Yeah, it's pretty much like, you know, the same thing. Will Nvidia run it better? Maybe it'll feel better with the AI algorithms and stuff like that. Maybe it turns out to be pretty good. Like, I'm not gonna turn my head up at frame generation anymore, because let's face it, if you're on a controller and you're using frame generation, I don't think you're gonna care. I don't think you're gonna care. I mean, if you're trying to play like Call of Duty or something on there, absolutely, you're turning frame generation off, but would you care? No, the screen's smoother. Your visuals look better. You can max out your high refresh screens. I don't think you're going to care, because you're not going to notice a super terrible amount of latency with a controller. Now, if you're playing with mouse and keyboard, yeah, you're going to notice it. Some games are going to perform better than others. So that is definitely going to be a deciding factor of, like, if you're flipping it on or flipping it off. I think that if you're playing single player games, you're going to have it on more often than you won't. Like, it just works and it feels just fine, and your screen is usually stable. It helps out with CPU bottlenecks. Yeah, it's a worthwhile feature. Is it worth what Nvidia is asking for it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like, let's just put that out there. It's not worth paying that much. You can literally buy lossless scaling for $7.99. I would buy that if you don't want to upgrade. Don't upgrade. You don't have to. You can buy that, and it does work. I will be testing on multiple games. I'm gonna try it on some open world games. Some other stuff. I'll pull out Star Wars. Star Wars is a pretty heavy game to run. We'll test that one out. And I'll pull out maybe some Avatar. Some of these heavier games that are heavy to run, you know, with the ray tracing, stuff like that, we'll test it out. We'll test out some Alan Wake 2. We'll test it out. We'll test it out with path tracing. I'll set it in the settings that I would have normally set it for like 1080p upscaled to 4K or whatever. We'll definitely do that. We'll check some of this stuff out for you guys, my friends. But yeah, when you're covering products on YouTube, man, this is crazy. If it wasn't for you guys, honestly, like, none of these companies would send me anything. I got companies that reach out to me all the time to, like, hey man, you want to cover this on your channel? And I literally have to tell them, like, this is a gaming and a PC channel and a tech channel. Is your product, like, yeah, I'll cover your product. I'll show it off. I'll make a video. I'll do that. But I'm not going to guarantee you clicks or anything, because it's like, if people don't care about your product and I already have a usable product, then I'm going to be using the one I got. You know what I mean? Like that Ayula sent out that mouse and keyboard setup. This combo right here, this white setup, and it's like, they're good, they work great, and you can get both of them for like $100. I think that was like the combo for the keyboard, wireless keyboard. They got Bluetooth mouse, they got Bluetooth, wireless, and you could plug them in. Different settings for like your DPI or whatever it is. Is that what they call this thing? I don't know about the mouses and stuff yet, but this feels great. Like, it works perfectly. The keyboard works great too. I actually had them hooked up to the ROG Ally the other day, playing around with that, and it was perfect. Like, it was absolutely freaking perfect. They work great, and I feel like, you know, that's a good value, because I spent for my for my Still Series setup that I bought, man, that thing cost me like $500 freaking dollars. I mean, yes, obviously you're gonna see there's a significant increase in like overall freaking just build quality from whatchamacallit, not haptic feedback, but Hall effect freaking buttons and everything, and it just feels so good. They're all mechanical. It's a very nice keyboard. It's a very nice keyboard. So like when I'm looking at like that, like those kind of things, it's like, yeah, they sent that out to me. They got their video out of it, but it's like I'm using my Still Series. So it's, yeah, like it does suck, man. Like sometimes these companies send you something out here and it's like a one video thing, but I have a backup now if something happens to my Still Series. I do actually plug the ALUA into like the ROG Ally when I'm doing testing on that. I got some testing I'll be doing a little bit later on that. So that right there is going to, definitely be fun, to do that on the ROG Ally or whatever. So yeah, it works. It does great. But yeah, guys, I guess the whole point of this video is like, man, I'm gonna buy the 5080. I'm buying the 5080. It would be nice if Nvidia would send out the GPU or send out a GPU or whatever, but I don't know. I don't know, guys. Like I haven't been very nice to the Nvidia brand, so I don't see them doing anything for the channel. Maybe I already burnt those bridges a long time ago. Who knows, man? But that's what happens. That's kind of what happens. I'm a pretty literal person, for real. Like I'm pretty literal. Obviously, I can be condescending. I can talk down to people all the time, and I'm older, but I'm not exactly wiser. I'm just stubborn. They say, oh, you get wiser with age. No, you just get more stubborn. You just become more of an asshole, and you get sick and tired of being lied to. And you look at things differently. Like, yes, everybody's out there hyping this stuff up. But you got to look at that. Like, you got to look at this logically, man. This shit's going to come out. It's going to run 10 to 15% better than what you already got, which is, a couple frames, a few frames. Literally, it's going to have some new tech, some new hardware that's going to make that software run better. It's going to give you better performance that way. But it's not going to be a night and day difference from what you already have. Like, I completely understand that. But I also completely understand that YouTube as a channel, it does require investment into it. Like you do. If you're going to start a YouTube channel, you're going to invest in it, or you're going to build a specific type of content. You're going to just, do talking head videos and stuff like that. One way or another, in order to cover like tech and product and stuff like that, you do have to invest. I didn't even start getting a whole lot of cool free stuff until I upgraded the cameras, and everybody were like, oh my gosh, look at that quality of the camera and blah, blah, blah. And then people were like, all right, we can send it out there. Now you can show our product off better. That was the whole thing. It was like, dude, once I upgraded the cameras, everything changed. Like more vendors were willing to reach out to me. And it's like, my gosh, dude. And I turn a lot of stuff down too. Like I do. I turn a lot of stuff down just because I don't think it's going to be worth covering on this channel. And I'm not, I'm not at a point yet where I'm not at a point where I'm like, okay, I will accept a payment to cover your product. I'm not at that point yet, just due to the fact that I need to figure out, I just haven't put together I haven't put together like an ethos for that yet. I have to have like an ethical thing, an ethical box of how I will accept and do those type of product placement or whatever in the channel. Like I just haven't. I've had a few companies reach out to me offering money, and I just at this point in time, like I feel like then it would be I don't know. Then I feel like it would be more of like okay, this is now you're getting paid actual money to produce this product. So it's like I personally don't know. I don't really even know how to go about any of that, and I'm not signing any contracts. That's why it doesn't work out. I refuse to sign any contracts right now. I'm not. After and especially after the recent hack of the channel, I am not doing any freaking contracts. So I'm at a point right now where it's like, look, man, I'm not going to sign your contracts. If you want to send me your product, here's my address, send it out to me, and I will cover it the way I want to cover it. I'm not accepting money for that, so that really does affect like the overall income that the channel could be making. But I'm not, like, I never built this platform to shill products for companies. Like I don't have a problem like covering like the free product and stuff like that, because then it's like, all right, they sent this out to me. If I like it, I'm gonna use it. If I don't like it, or if I don't need it or something, like, it's just gonna sit in my closet. So every time one of these companies sent, or I'm gonna give it away. I've given away so much stuff that it's not even crazy. I just, you know, they send it out to me, I cover it, I do my obligated, you know, video or whatever. And then I send it off to somebody. Like, I literally just gave away my PlayStation 5, my original PlayStation 5, the Next Level Racing Wheel Stand Light, and my Thrustmaster T248. I gave all that to my brother. He came down. They came down from Fillmore for the funeral the other day, and yeah, I sent him home with all that. So that was cool. Like, it's nice to be able to do that. It's nice to be able to be in a position to where you have that kind of stuff to do. So yeah, guys, I get the whole FOMO thing. Buying and building and, you know, doing the things that we do in the PC space. You know, it's expensive. It's definitely expensive, and I definitely feel like it's been worth the investment so far. Just in the learning phase to like learn a lot about this stuff, because I mean, like, when I was 18, I used to work for freaking Gateway, back when Gateway was still a computer company, and I built like computers on assembly line for them. Like, I literally packed up the whole plant and shipped it over to freaking to whatever country that they decided to start shipping those jobs to. I was literally one of the last employees there, loading the freaking equipment onto the truck to watch us ship our jobs out of the United States back when I was 18. And I was like, dang, dude, this sucks, man. That job paid good. We made like when we worked that one year, we worked that year through Christmas Eve and Christmas. We got double time on Christmas Eve, and we got triple time on Christmas. On Christmas Day, sitting there building all them Gateway computers. So I mean, I know how to build a computer. Like, I mean, those were pretty primitive back then. But I mean, building computers and then, you know, kind of come back to it, you know, 20 years later, and I'm like, all right, now things have changed, but they're not way different. They're actually way easier to put together, and you know what I mean? It's like so much better now to build PCs and stuff. They like look at it and you're like, all right, whatever, you know. So you kind of just figure it out, but. You know, it's just been interesting. It's just been interesting to kind of come full circle back to, like, you know, PC gaming when I was always a console gamer and stuff. And let's be real, man. Honestly, I could be happy on a PS5 Pro and an Xbox Series X to play my video games. I could easily be happy. Like, they're fine. They're not that bad. Yes, the PC experience is significantly better, and I'm pretty sure I lost you guys like freaking 10 minutes ago. So I don't know, man. This damn FOMO, man. This damn FOMO. It's quite interesting. So, all right, if you guys like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.